going to fight this problem, okay, we're going to have to invest in technology. Congress basically makes their spending decisions on if I can save $1 here, okay, then I can spend $1 over there. But the statistic that blew my mind was the fact that the total investment that the federal government made in AIDS research was $10 billion, okay? The cost to our society today to maintain the AIDS patients, if we hadn't intervened at that level, $1 trillion a year, okay? So you have to start thinking about your expenditure in our sector as an investment, not as a dollar that has to be traded off with either new tax revenues or something different. And that's the 100% of the thought process about how you basically balance the budget down there.
I think another thing that happened that I don't know whether the big
concerned citizen.
I don't know if the big banks looked at this as opportunities or as ways to get rid of them, but in our early days, and you've mentioned Hambrick and Quist and Roberts and Stevens, and there's some others in there too. And it used to be different. Those people used to browse the neighborhoods here, looking for things, trying to get you moving along. And then they all got bought up by the really big people and killed.
Right.
And it wasn't like, they said, well, we're going to buy Roberts and Stevens, and now we're going to start doing small companies. So today, if you want to, you would not walk into your company today and say, oh, there's some guys here from Goldman Sachs just browsing the neighborhood trying to find what's going on. You got to call them and go out there and do dog and pony. So that's one of the things that happened. And one of the things that I would throw out in an audience, I'm not sure this is the right audience, but in terms of age. But I mean, I think the thing that's interesting is all of us got going in venture capital in the mid-'80s, right? And I've had companies that have sold for a lot of money, and just like we had, Hybridec, and did you see those people say, hey, now what I'm going to do is raise a venture fund? No. And then you sort of say, well, what happened to the people who left Donaldson, Lufkin, Generette? Did they start a new boutique bank to sort of look for things? No. I don't know where they all are.
Oh, they went to work for the pharmaceutical company.
Huh?
Because their deal was, look, we were at Lehman Brothers or H&Q or whatever. We don't have a job. We got to make a living, so we'll go to the buy side and we will say, hey, we know how these guys think, and we'll cut good deals for you. That's the source of this predatory behavior, is because they kind of know what the pinch points are. But I wanted to point out that there may be light at the end of the tunnel, because the situation that's now happening with pharma is, as Tim mentioned, they are wholesale closing down campuses. I mean, Sandoz, New Jersey, Sandoz, Novartis' New Jersey campus closed, shuttered, whole hillside of buildings. And Roche as well. So they decimated their internal research for very good reason, because it was not productive. And because of the predatory practices toward the biotech industry, so number one, there's not a phase 2 asset where the bucket is spit that's available today. And so the pharma companies, that used to be their mantra, don't bother us until you have phase 2 data. Well, there's no assets that have data at phase 2 that's worth looking at, because they've all been picked over like filing's basement. So basically they're saying, we got a real problem, because we have now, we've driven biotechs out of business. The venture capital backers have, because of the returns were so poor, they've been driven out of business. We have no source of, discovery stage products. And the only alternative, if the last surviving venture capitalist in biotech dies, we'll have to go back and recreate everything that was a failure on our end, internal research. So what's happening, because Avalon is in discussions with 5 major pharmaceutical companies, where we have said, game over, the old way it was done. So you have to put up basically 90% of the money, in advance. We'll put up, and I'm talking, say $50 million, and maybe we'll put up 2 to 5, and we will do what we always did, which was that we will, find great technologies out of academia. We will put together the world-class advisory board. We will hire the management. We will manage the thing. We will manage the cap table, so we incentivize people. But you're going to be the ultimate beneficiary of this, and so you can take us out at any point, and you can either, it's a 3x, it's a 5x, a 10x, or 20x, depending on when that is, so we can get venture returns. But, you know, the bulk of the expenditure and the risk is on you. And they are lining up, I can tell you that, so.
Yeah, I would parallel that, our,
Yeah.
our
So there's the
raising a
silver
new fund.
lining then.